Rachel is going to be my scene partner with this, and we're going to have a little fun with it.
Mic between you or?
Yeah.
Got it?
You can stay right there.
Okay.
No, I'd rather stand because we get one in the way of the phone.
Yeah, we're gonna stand up.
Yeah, because we're going to get up too.
Okay.
Projection.
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm.
That's what actors do.
That's right, y'all can get closer to the mic, closer together.
We close enough?
They just go to project. I don't need no mic.
Yeah.
I don't need no speaker mic.
Up in the rafters, they might not be able to hear you.
Right. Sorry, audience, if y'all can't hear back there, let us know, okay?
We hear you just fine.
We love you. Okay, you ready?
Scene.
Larry was always bringing up this woman named Gretchen. Seems she was always on the wrong end of a raw deal at work. But I really didn't think much about it. Larry's that kind of person, sensitive to other people's needs. I don't know. I consider myself a perfectly good wife. Yes, I spent a lot of time doing church work, but I always asked Larry to be minded. I kept the house clean, had dinner on the table when he got home, in spite of the fact that I had a full-time job too. As for the girls, we've got a 10 and an 8-year-old. They were mostly with me. It's not like I dumped them on him, you know. As far as our sex life is concerned, it was great. I was always there for him.
My Alice was always in church 5-6 times a week. I mean, that woman lived at that church. What could I say? That I was jealous of the time she was spending in church? You can't say a thing like that. Anyway, Gretchen worked in the front office. Things started out innocently enough. It was so easy to talk to. And she wasn't too bad on the eyes either. I guess I was pretty easy to talk to. We started going to lunch. First there were 4 or 5 of us. We were all just good friends. One night Gretchen asked me if I could meet her after work. She said she couldn't take the way the boss was treating her anymore and was thinking about moving back to Houston. I figured, why not? I knew Alice would be going to choir practice that night, so I said, sure, yeah, we can talk.
Larry was my first. Well, my one and only. I never even thought about cheating on him. I never thought much about him cheating on me.
Before I knew it, Gretchen was all over me. I mean, this freak was pouring herself out to me. You know, it's a weird feeling, knowing that I belong to someone else and have these strong feelings for this other woman. Tell you what, Gretchen told me that she would never leave me at home alone if I was her man. The way she made love to me, I had to agree.
When Larry told me he was in love with Gretchen, it was as if one had bored a hole right through my chest. You know, you hear all those love songs where they sing about having a broken heart, but you never pay much attention to it. And now I realize just how accurate a description it really is. You hurt right there in the middle of your chest.
I didn't feel it was fair for me to continue to live with Alice while being in love with this other woman. You know, sensitive that way, you know? So I moved out. Moved in with my older brother Kenny after he told me how crazy I was for leaving Alice. My family thinks the world of Alice.
I guess I went a little crazy. Oh, God. I honestly never thought about spending my life without Larry. I was going crazy. I even told him that he could continue seeing Gretchen. But just please don't leave me.
Gretchen couldn't take the job any longer, so she was transferring to the Houston plant. And she wanted me to come with her.
The night I found out that Larry had moved to Houston, one thing I learned from having a nervous breakdown was that I had never been to me. I know it sounds cliche, but I didn't know who I was. I had a way of elevating other things and people to lofty places. I guess I basically had low self-esteem. First I elevated my father, and then Larry, and then my daughters, and then the church, and my job. But now that I have a great deal more of myself, I don't put people so far out of reach. This way, they have less distance to follow.
I realized my first day in Houston that Gretchen had been merely using me just to get back to her home state. Now that she was back amongst her friends and family, it was just as if I was some guy who wouldn't leave her alone, some guy that followed her from Los Angeles. I stayed in Houston for less than a month, just long enough to be transferred back to the Los Angeles area. What I learned that the grass isn't always greener. That love has got to be put into perspective. I mean, Alice and I have been together for more than 12 years. And that was more than enough to balance the thrill, the flash, the fling that Gretchen represented. Alice, I love you. I made a horrible mistake, a bad mistake. But I know I can make it up to you. Can't we please, baby, please, just try once more. I want to come home.
Somehow, Larry, I knew you would always come back. And I thought long and hard about how I would respond. There's no doubt that I still love you, Larry. You probably know that, or you would have had the stupefying gall to come back to me like this. But I'm not the same person you left with that other woman, Larry. I've become curious to know what it's like to be truly loved. I've long felt taken for granted by you. Our relationship has always been about Larry. What Larry needed, what Larry wanted. Well, I want to feel what Gretchen must have felt when you were willing to give up everything, every single thing for her. That's a lot to overcome, Larry. By the way, it's over, Larry. The fat lady is singing.
I will survive as long as I